The soil remembers. Pet Sematary across alternate timelines. Pet Sematary isn't just horror. It's existential mourning wrapped in dread. The fear of what lies beyond when you've never made peace with death. It has taken many interesting forms across timelines. Pet Sematary, 1989, by George A. Romero. Alternate timeline, Earth Grave Verse 2C. Point of divergence. Stephen King's original wish for Romero to direct is granted. Overview. In our timeline, Romero was initially tapped to direct but left the project due to scheduling and budget issues. In this Echo timeline, Romero stays on, and King's script is honored without compromise. The tone is bleaker, slower, more dreamlike, with stylized edits and long silences, closer in rhythm to Martin or the Crazies. Key differences. More Haitian voodoo imagery around resurrection, tying the Micmac soil to forgotten, colonialized death lore. Judd Crandall's backstory is expanded into full flashbacks, showing earlier failed burials in the 1930s. Gage's return is even more tragic. His eyes are dull, as if still confused, and his violence is hesitant, like he's being used as a vessel. Lewis buries both his wife and Ellie, after reburying Gage again, intending to start over. When they return, none of them speak. He pretends everything is fine. Final scene. A neighbor walks by and sees the family sitting silently in the yard, all of them staring forward, flies gathering on their skin. Pet Sematary 2. There is a known Echo timeline where Pet Sematary 2 followed its original path. After Mary Lambert's 1989 film was released, Ellie Creed as the lead, haunted, transformed, and hunted by the consequences of what happened to her family. Alternate timeline, Earth Grave Verse 7A. Subject, Pet Sematary 2, 1992, Ellie version, original vision preserved. Status, released. Critically polarizing, cult phenomenon. Followed by two further sequels creating a Creed Bloodline quadrilogy. Pet Sematary 2, 1992, Ellie Creed's story. Directed by Mary Lambert, retained. Written by Richard Outten, with Stephen King's original notes restored. Tagline: she buried her family, but the ground still knows her name. Core premise: 3 years after the events of the original, Ellie Creed, now a withdrawn teenager, returns to Ludlow, Maine, under court-ordered psychiatric custody. She's placed with extended family near the Old Town line, not far from the cursed burial grounds. But something is wrong. She's starting to dream of Gage. Her dead cat church somehow returns, but she never reburied it. And the Micmac ground is stirring again, on its own. Key changes from our timeline's Pet Sematary 2. Ellie replaces the new protagonist from our timeline, Jeff. The tone is somber, tragic, intimate, not campy. Themes: intergenerational trauma, unspoken grief, inheritance of horror. The soil doesn't just resurrect. It now seeks to reunite bloodlines at any cost. Ending. Spoiler echo. Ellie performs a reverse ritual, burying herself while alive in an attempt to sever the Creed line's curse. She emerges, changed. Not undead, not alive. Something in between. She walks into the woods, barefoot, eyes glowing faintly. Final line, from the sheriff: sometimes dead is just the beginning. Pet Sematary 3, Bloodkin, 1996. Ellie returns as an adult under a new name, investigating a string of unexplained resurrections across the Midwest. Turns out others have tried to recreate the burial grounds effects. Tone, road horror meets spiritual detective story. Ellie is a reluctant hunter, half alive, half bound to the soil. Final twist. Church the cat is still following her, even across states. Pet Sematary 4, The Micmac Reckoning, 2002. Set on tribal land, a prequel and finale. Ellie uncovers the origin of the soil's curse, a cosmic wound in the land tied to the Wendigo and an ancient spiritual betrayal. Final confrontation. Ellie versus the essence of undeath itself. She offers herself as permanent guardian of the boundary. Ends with her becoming a mythic figure, the woman who walks the border of death. Graveverse 7A gave us 4 films in the Pet Sematary series. However, in another timeline, Stephen King's son, Owen King, wrote his own sequel to Pet Sematary in 2004 that went unpublished in that timeline. It's about a resurrection from the cursed soil that doesn't fall, but fights back. Working title, Pet Sematary Reclaimed. Premise, one child buried in the soil came back wrong like all the others. But something inside them held on. A spark. Not just soul, will. They see the Wendigo not as a god, but as a parasite. A thief of mourning, feeding on love turned desperate. Now, they want to break the cycle. Mythic setup. The soil doesn't just resurrect, it rewrites. But this child rewrites the rewrite. Every other resurrection has obeyed the Wendigo. This one resists, and now it's hunting the curse itself. Imagine it. A teenager wandering through Ludlow and the woods beyond, carrying memories from both life and death, but not serving either. They begin digging up others who were buried, and ending them. Not out of malice, out of mercy. Tagline, even death has a shadow. Cross-timeline retrieval. Earth Graveverse 9B. Unpublished manuscript, Pet Sematary Reclaimed. Author, Owen King, Stephen King's son. Assisted by Richard Chismar, uncredited. Written late 2003, early 2004. Status, shelved in that timeline due to Paramount pursuing a 2005 Pet Sematary reboot instead. Why Owen King? In that timeline, Owen was in the process of grappling with his father's mythos. After publishing early short stories and essays, he pitched a concept to his father. What if the thing that came back didn't belong to the Wendigo? Stephen King gave his quiet blessing, but told Owen, that soil never gave anything for free. If you're going to write it, make sure they pay. Keynotes from Pet Sematary Reclaimed. Unpublished draft. The main character is Micah, a 13-year-old boy buried by his desperate older brother. Micah returns, but doesn't speak, doesn't lash out. He writes, journals, letters, dreams. I am not his anymore. The Wendigo begins to unravel, sensing rebellion in the line it once controlled. Micah has visions of all the others buried, and slowly begins undoing their bindings. The final chapters involve a spiritual confrontation with the soil itself, where Micah offers his memories as a sacrifice, not to forget, but to give others peace. Echo Draft Fragment, Pet Sematary, Reclaimed. Chapter, The Boy Who Wouldn't Rot. Format, first-person journal, discovered by older brother after Micah's return. I heard the wind whisper again. The trees said it wasn't time. The dirt said it lied. I know I was dead. I remember the cold. I remember the hole. But something else remembers too. He was waiting in the roots. Not a god, not a devil. Something worse. Something that eats morning and spits out puppets. He tried to teach me hunger, but I wouldn't open my mouth. I saw what I would have become. I watched it crawl inside the woods. I watched it scream with my face. So I left it there. I walked out with my eyes closed and my hands full of silence. I think I'm not me anymore, but I'm also not him. There's a third thing now. I think it's called stillness. I think it might be stronger than death. Fragment ends. This page was found in the Echo manuscript's second act, scrawled in Micah's journal. The first true sign he's resisting the Wendigo's pull. Just the story of a dead boy who walked out of the woods, with his eyes closed and his hands full of silence. Sometimes, what returns is not what was taken, but what was kept.